Hello and welcome. Let's talk about leadership, especially leaders for small companies. Even if you're starting your own company and at a small team like VAs or assistants, face to face in your office, or however you want to create it and build it, it's a challenge to lead a team. And in my last week video for my Mastering Business Referrals, I had a team leader there and we were talking about how I get my team motivated to work more on referrals, recommendations, and he had this question, this direction. So first of all, what we discovered is that obviously you lead by example. So the engagement of the leader is obviously one of the most important things. Your team keeps moving. So the team doesn't matter if you're realizing that or not, but the team is looking what you're doing all the time. And it's a question of a status as well. So they want to see that you are really working your butt off in order to keep moving, to be successful, and that you do what you're talking about. And if they figure out that you're not aligned with your, with your speeches, with your motivational talk to the team, and you are not following your own advice day by day, and you are not walk the talk, then it's really difficult to keep them motivated. They will find more excuses to do not the work what they actually have to do, and the more understanding you are, and this is part two basically, if you have no rules and let them go through with their excuses, then you have another problem, because the other team members will see this as well. So first of all, you have to do your first thing, like work on yourself, do what you say, and be a role model for your team. And then second of all, if you have implemented rules and as a guideline what everybody has to do, then you have to have a consequence for those people who don't want to follow these rules. And this is something which is really for most people hard to push through. And I can talk from my experience as well. I was in a team and I realized and experienced the change when it was very strict and the leaders like walked the talk and did what they told us as a team to do, and they followed their own rules. And then there was a little break and shift, and they start basically finding excuses for themselves why they don't have to do it, because they are the leaders now. So then it was basically a phase where the very motivated people, they kept going and they tried to keep up and they tried to follow the rules like it was before, and to follow up with the consequences and all the things like that. But after a while, because there were no consequences and the team members were not in the leadership role, it fell all apart. So that meant as well, for example, coming too late to a meeting had no consequences anymore. Coming not to a meeting because you had a client appointment or a call had no consequences anymore. And that meant as well that the very tough team members from the beginning, they pushed through, they had no excuses, and they fight for themselves and for their team, were gone, because they just had no more, like they saw there are no consequences, and they saw that others go through with something which is actually was not respected or tolerated by in the beginning. So, and this was a really big difference of what I saw. And this is something as well, what I realized over and over and over again. So if you have a team and you cannot change yourself in the first place, if you want to have a change for your team and you cannot change yourself in the first place, then the team is not changing at all. So because every small step the team try to change and they see there is no change in the leadership, it's a problem because they don't see the response and they don't see the result of that, and they just have bad consequences at the end because the results are not there. Maybe the approval of the leadership is not there. Maybe they don't get the appreciation of what they're doing. There's so many things happening for the team. So on the other side, I asked my question. I saw different videos as well and different content as well that say, well, if you serve the team as a leader, very good, the team will be great. So you just have to serve the team. The problem is it depends on the status and it depends on the level you are at right now, how big is your team, and who is actually bringing the money in the company. So if you are the person who bringing the money in and you have a small team and you start serving the team, but you are the one bringing the money in, then it can break your neck. If you have people who bring the money in for you, then it might be clever to serve them as well and to support them that they can bring more money in for you. But if you are the one, the rainmaker, the closer, whatever your role is in this, in the company, in the small company you build, then you should not start focusing on the team before you have a system where the money comes in over and over and over again. So this is something as well, what I realized when I watched the videos. This is really depending on the level you are at. And most people make this mistake that they are focusing too fast on the team and building this team, and it can break your neck if the team is not committed. Which brings me to another point, that the commitment nowadays I have no idea if it's in a different age group or if it's a cultural change. There's a lot of discussion going on about this one, but the commitment is not the same than it was like when I started after university, the professional way. So the professional journey. I was raised totally different, and it was clear that I am committed to what I said, what I'm doing, and I do everything and whatever it takes to keep everything to be successful in my position and to add value to the company. So both is needed and both is basically wanted. And nowadays, the people who start in a team are not necessarily looking for that you are basically the one, like that they are basically the one who add value to the company in the first place. They want to add value to themselves. And if this is not serving themselves anymore, they're just continuing their journey and they are not looking especially for the team. So it's really more selfish, and the change and the commitment is just changing. So I'm not so sure why this is right now and why the cultural change is in this way. And maybe you have different experience and you have a different opinion on that. If it is like this, it would be really great if you comment below and let me know what your experience is, like building the team and, like keep the team moving, keep it successful, keep it pushing, how you do that and how you keep your team motivated. And if you have changes or if you want to make changes and if you want to push your team to the peak performance in a way, how do you start it? Like, let me know what you are doing and how you do that, especially in different aspects. That would be very interesting. But there's a few, I would say, few details I observed in the last years, and especially when I watched the videos, that it sounds so simple. And if you are working with people, actually the steps are like the way is simple. It looks simple. It's just, you just have to do this, 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 and this. But to work on that and to work with people is not that simple as it seems. And it might be in one or the other point a little bit difficult. And working with, like, everybody is different, obviously. And we want to really like motivate and motivate each of them and keep them pushing. But what is the best way? And this is what I observed in the past and what I really see, like the mistakes they just keep making by leaders. And I want to use this live today to to make you aware of the situation. Maybe you are starting a team, you have a small team, or like you're facing from time to time these issues. And I just want to make this awareness for you as well, that you think about it, like what you can do better and how you can change yourself. And especially like starting with yourself, for me, is one of the keys, because most of the people start changing the team. But in order to change the team, maybe you have to start with yourself first, depending on what level you are. But, you know, start with yourself first. It's the same thing if you, for example, if you train a dog, it's not that you train the dog, that the dog is doing what you want. It's basically train yourself first, then in order to train the dog. So all the dog trainers say as well, actually, I'm not a dog trainer. I'm a trainer for the human beings. They have a dog because they have to learn how to communicate with the dog in order to have the dog behave this way they want to behave. So this is something what we maybe always underestimate, that we are not focusing on us enough when we want to have changed the environment. And this is something I want to share with you today, to share with you this awareness and to make you aware of this in your situation, that you start with yourself and see, okay, what I have to do in order to reach the next level, what problems I am facing right now, and what I want to have to do in order to go further. For example, if you feel totally chaotic and you have the feeling, okay, there's nothing really, you want to have the team more structured, more organized, and you are not organized yourself, it's really difficult for the team to, to get organized if you are not living this organization as well, and if you are not living the structure and the processes as well. So you have to do your bit as well in order to make this running, because if you are not leading by example in this case, the team don't see the sense in it, doing it for you, if you are not using it or doing it as a leader. So this is a small example what I want to share here as well. And I'm really, really curious about what you are doing, how you do that, what's your opinion on that point. And I'm looking forward for your comments below and for the next live in the next week. Have a good one. Bye.